Guess what? Sunday Sanctuary is produced by a non-profit, which makes perfect sense, right? And it's also quite fun because you never know where the money's going to come from. So this is your invitation to join that fun by supporting this kaupapa and helping to share something you love with even more people looking for soul-nourishing spiritual conversations. It's simple. You can choose between a one-off donation or become a regular supporter and help Sam and I keep making Sunday Sanctuary. To give now, head to our website, sundaysanctuary.nz. Kia ora, and thank you.
Baby, I can find my treasure. There's too much for me to do. Baby, I can find my treasure. Maybe my treasure rests in you.
Sunday Sanctuary with Petra Bagust.
E ngā manu, e ngā reo, mai e ngā hau e whā. Tatu mai nei te manga o tēnei rā kau whakaruru hau. Tau mai nei ki tēnei kaupapa, he pāpa hau atu nei ki a koutou a rā ko Sunday Sanctuary. Ko Petra Bagust tēnei e rere ana ngā mihi ki a koutou katoa. To everyone from each corner of this country, come rest on the branch of this sheltered tree. You are welcome to this project, this space, Sunday Sanctuary. I'm Petra Bagust and I acknowledge you all. Well, we're going to have some fun with rituals today. Not the scary, creepy ones where if you Google rituals and movies, you get a whole lot of horror, evil, cult rituals. But this idea of ritual as something that might deepen, ground your daily life, something that might pop you in a space that makes it easier to stand or be or breathe. So rituals are literally something that have pervaded humanity since as long as we know. They've always been around, and we are less religious than we once were. This epoch, this era is relatively secular. So these religious traditions that might have anchored certain cultures just aren't as prevalent. So it feels like, have we lost the art of ritual? Is ritual, in fact, endangered? Does that work for us? Is that what we want? Would we be A-OK, thumbs up, without rituals in our lives? I guess that's what we're going to find out. And producer Mick got very curious about this and put his research cap on. Mick Andrews.
Hello.
Producer, sometimes of Sunday Sanctuary, and podcast maker in your own right.
I like to think so.
In fact, you're a man of many talents.
I thought you were going to say menopause.
You're a man of many talents who has edited grey areas. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, anytime.
So like it. I so love having your skills. So today's episode, as everybody knows, is about rituals. And when we were discussing this episode, we really talked about it not being those once a year rituals or once in a life ritual, like a funeral.
More the regular stuff.
More the rituals of our ongoing lives.
Yeah.
What's the place of ritual? What even? So this is why we're having a chat. Let's go. You lead the chat on what is a ritual.
Yeah. Well, we kind of considered having a full-blown academic sitting here talking like an anthropologist or something, And when I did some research, I did discover that I looked into kind of anthropologists, sociologists, psychologists. And I discovered that actually, when you're in the kind of deep academic realms, quite a lot of the rhetoric around it is kind of a bit cynical, if you will, about rituals. So it's like, here's some nice little things, superstitious things that humans do to make them feel better about life.
So possibly uncivilized, unscientific behaviours by individuals somewhere.
Yeah, like things we do to cope. Kind of thing, which I thought was a little too cynical, and I think rituals have a lot more value than that. So I did some more kind of rooting around and exploring.
I love that root around.
And I found, a body of work that is more positive and affirming when it comes to rituals.
Okay.
And interestingly, every known human society has rituals. And they're not just a religious thing.
Okay,
so even when societies secularize, they continue to engage in rituals. In fact, when I was reading, I found out about something called the modern ritual gap, which is where modern secular life has stripped away a great deal of the inherited rituals, but hasn't eliminated the underlying human need that those rituals served.
Can you eradicate an underlying human need? If you have a human need, there isn't a system that can just remove the need.
It's universal.
What's the need? Do you know what the need is?
Good question. I'd have to just come up with that myself. I reckon it's the need to be connected to something deeper and longer.
And bigger.
Yeah, and bigger. Okay. Yeah. And in modern society, I mean, some of the things that have filled the psychological gap that maybe religious and cultural rituals filled are like the gym, running culture, wellness practices, yoga, baby showers, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Like secular rituals. They fill that same kind of gap, whether they actually...
Need to gather, need for community, need for celebration.
Yeah, need for repetition, need for an anchor that we can go back to time after time after time.
Need for things that increase our sense of wellness even, or thriving or wholeness.
Yeah, and centering maybe.
Yeah.
And you know that as you're going through Monday to Friday, on Saturday morning you're going to do that thing. It is a bit of an anchor,
With those people.
Yeah.
In that
and I
place.
think you're right with those people. That connection's a key part of it. So I discovered in my research that a lot of the people that are talking about this stuff talk about 4 main things that ritual provides us as humans.
Okay.
So get ready.
Student Petra ready.
Yeah, that's it. You got your notebook out. Sit up a bit straighter if you could. So number 1, ritual gives us steadiness and change.
Steadiness inside of change.
Yes.
Steadiness within change.
Yeah, during change.
Steadiness in change.
Yeah, so it turns difficult changes and losses into something we can walk through.
Okay.
It takes what would otherwise be hard, disorienting, and turns it into something shared, held, and meaningful.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it's not hard or disorienting, but it helps us process it.
Okay, we're going to need to explore more because so far...
Yeah, I think it might be because when a significant loss happens, it kind of upends your life and everything's suddenly uncertain, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then if you can have something certain and repeatable to go back to...
Okay.
It gives you some agency?
Yes, so I can clean my teeth. I know that this comes up in grief. I can get up. I can clean my teeth. But I'll be interested in, is that a habit or is that a ritual?
Well, that brings up, habits are good and can be helpful, but I think rituals have a bit of symbolism attached to them.
Okay.
And they connect us to something deeper.
Okay, yes.
Interestingly, at Harvard, they did an experiment where they got people to perform a ritual after a significant loss, and those who performed the ritual versus those who didn't, whether they believed it or not, reported significantly lower feelings of grief than those who didn't.
What was the ritual?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
But the interesting thing, it didn't matter whether they believed in the power of the ritual or not. And they think that that's because the ritual gave these people a sense of agency and steadiness amidst the turmoil and helped them metabolize the grief.
Okay.
Pretty interesting.
Yep, very, very interesting.
Number 2.
Yes.
Ritual forms deep connection with others, which you've already mentioned. Ritual binds us to each other in ways that words can't manage alone. When we embody something together, we form bonds.
Okay, so we just did a matariki dinner and it was a progressive dinner, so we had entrees at my mum's place and we all talked about people we'd lost. So we
like who had died?
Acknowledged death.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we moved to our house and we had the main and we acknowledged what we were grateful for right now. So we were present to the goodness of right now. And then for dessert, which was symbolically at my friend's house, but because my dad can't move, we stayed at ours. But she brought dessert to us. We looked toward the future. So it's that New Year thing of, who has died, where am I, where do I see myself, or where do I hope, what do I hope for? And my son had a mate round who, he's 19, he doesn't talk that much. And we had another friend of my daughter's and we had my friend and her partner. And there was something profound about the night that was deeply connecting. We shared ourselves with each other. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to do this every year. This is going to become a ritual for us.
And I'm sure the people who attend every year are going to feel closer to each other as a result. So, other examples of this might be singing, chanting, praying, a tea ceremony, a certain food prepared and eaten a certain way at a certain time of year. Emil Durkheim, a sociologist over 100 years ago, I think you're going to like this, coined the phrase, which you've probably heard, collective effervescence.
Ooh, I do like it.
And it's the sense of being swept up into something larger than yourself alongside other people, so that for a moment the usual boundary between me and us gets pleasantly blurred.
It happens at the end of concerts when people
Oh, yeah.
pour onto the
Totally.
street and we take over the streets
Totally.
and the pavements and
Yeah.
the world belongs to us and we have shared.
Yeah.
It's the effervescent.
And you can even at a sports match where two guys who happen to be sitting hug because they're the same team,
Yeah.
suddenly connected in a way that,
Yeah, very cool.
It's nice. Number 3, rituals give the sacred somewhere to live.
Okay.
Ritual takes spirituality out of the head and into the body and the heart and even the spirit.
Maybe even out of the ether. It's hard to grasp onto something in the ether. Like in the unseen is hard to access, hence religious rituals.
Yeah, totally. Because belief and spirituality, it is in the ether, isn't it? It is so incredibly indefinable and intangible.
Mysterious.
So to give it movement and...
A place to land.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay, cool, great.
Belief for most people through most of history hasn't been an abstract thing held quietly in the mind. It's something practiced, embodied, done with the whole self, often together with others. Ritual is a doorway.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Cool.
And so I do wonder what the relationship between habit and ritual is. Maybe that's something we can dig into during the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does have something to do with there being a bit more depth and meaning to a ritual than a habit.
Yeah.
But they're not mutually exclusive, right? Because rituals are habits
Yes.
plus, habits
Yes.
plus,
Yes.
you know?
Do you have any rituals that you can think of in your life?
Yeah,
that
I do.
connect you?
I before I throw the covers off my bed, I have a little mantra that I say every day that's the same every day. That's a ritual. And
Nice.
that just reflects my values, really, of how I'd like to be in the world. What else? I've been trying to turn, because I secretly want a dishwasher but don't have one, I've been trying to turn doing the dishes at the end of the evening into like a mindful
Ritual.
ritual.
What are you practicing? Are you practicing gratefulness, or are you practicing what is it about it that would make it a ritual?
Well, one thing I perpetually struggle with as a human is to be content with what I've done in a day.
I feel you.
You know, it's like there's never enough hours in the day. The list is always longer. There's always things left on it at the end of the day. And I always want to eke out more out of the day. Not just productivity, but even fun or whatever, you know. But I think I've been trying to say as I do the dishes, the day is done. There's nothing left to do.
Okay.
There's nothing left to do.
Which is really a doorway to being grounded, to being contented, to being
Yeah.
at rest and at
Yeah.
peace at the end of a day.
Ready for
That's
sleep.
a pretty good ritual.
Yeah.
By the sounds.
Yeah.
And a ritual isn't something you've mastered, it's something you engage with in a very human way, right?
Well, yeah, because if you've mastered it, you don't need to do it anymore. But the fact that you still need to do it means you still need reminding, right?
Nice.
So anyway, fourth and finally of the things that rituals provide us as humans, ritual connects us to something bigger than ourselves, which we've referred to. Ritual carries what matters intact across time. A grandparent who repeats a ritual their grandparents performed is, in a real sense, still connected to them by it, even across time, distance, or loss of language. Ritual is one of the most resilient forms culture has ever found for saying, this matters, don't let it disappear.
Nice.
Pretty good, eh?
Yeah, I love it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just rock into the rest of it.
Yeah, let's go.
Great.
Sunday Sanctuary with Petra Bagust.
So from what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, it would seem rituals are very good for us in maybe a mysterious but potentially deeply profound way. And I understand our society is very distracting and it's calling us, it's kind of grabbing our attention and it's wanting us to pay attention now to this thing here. And I wonder if there's a pressure on us in our current society towards this exceptional individualism about my needs, my wants, my desires, my productivity, my efficiency, my purpose, all the different my's. And perhaps rituals are literally pulling us towards community and to belonging and to being in a way that is deeply, deeply helpful. And I think that's a wonderful pull. So maybe a bit of today will be about surrendering to the pull of ritual. And I think of a new ritual that my husband and I have started now that our children are bigger and mostly flown the coop. Every morning for breakfast, after we might have exercised, my husband gets up early and does some study. We come together in the kitchen and we cook breakfast and then we take it outside. So spring, winter, summer, autumn, we will sit outside on a couch and take our breakfast there and eat together. And then we often play Wordle after that. It feels like this pause moment sets us up for the rest of our day, and I'm loving it. So it's newish, and so far, so good. So that's a little ritual we've started. What about you? What are your rituals? Mick took a microphone to a local park to find out.
Hey guys, can I rudely interrupt for a second? My name's Mick, I'm a podcast producer, and I'm helping make a podcast called Sunday Sanctuary. And I'm just asking people a couple of quick questions about whether they have any rituals in their lives.
I make my bed in the morning.
That's good.
Yes,
I'm
it
glad
makes
you
me
do
very
that.
happy. That's the only thing I can think of at the moment.
Why do you do that?
It just clears space in my mind, I find. It makes me feel better coming home and my bed's made, even though I'm about to mess it up again.
Nice, that's a good one. I like that. Anyone else?
Go home and see my two sons smiling at me after work, running at me and giving me a big hug and a kiss. Mama's home.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's great. You must look forward to that every day.
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah. How does it make you feel when that happens?
Whatever stress I have at work is, even if I'm being scolded by a surgeon at work, I go home, I see them, and I find peace. Yes.
I love that.
I guess I do, yeah. Wake up every morning, breathe, starting off with that, and then go for a walk, get some movement in. And I guess that is my little bit of a ritual, bro.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, yell out good morning to the world and hope for the best after that.
Awesome. What does doing that every day bring you?
Brings me clarity, bro. Shows me that I've got another chance and got another day.
Yeah.
What's your definition of rituals?
Well, what's your definition of rituals?
Well, that's probably something I believe in and do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you do on a Sunday?
I go to church.
Oh, yeah?
It's been part of my life since I was in my teens.
That's a ritual.
It's a ritual.
About walking in here, is this a ritual?
Yes.
Trying to make it one.
Yeah.
One basic thing that our family does is Friday night pizza night. We have pizza every Friday.
And what do you get out of it?
A meal together. I think just the tradition of knowing that's what we do.
Like a rhythm to your life.
A rhythm.
What do you enjoy about it?
I don't have to think about what to cook. That's my favorite.
What values do you think sits behind a ritual like that?
I think it brings comfort.
Connection. It
Yeah,
becomes
family
something
together.
that you do, right?
Something our family shares.
Nice, I like that.
How about ponchki?
Oh, that's really fun.
Fat Tuesday, use up all your sugar and flour and lard before Lent when you had to give up some of those sweets. So they'd make a round donut-like thing
Yeah.
with filling in.
That's called ponchki?
Yeah, ponchki, deep fried, and traditionally that you'd fill it with prunes.
Oh, yeah.
Not to make you regular necessarily, but now it's kind of gone out of control. They fill it, basically it's a jelly bun or lemon or anything, but
They're really good. They are really good.
yeah, they
Rolled in
when you
sugar.
eat them, you know you've had them for a while because they lay in the bottom of your stomach.
What did you think of that tradition when you were young?
Just expected it. That's what the grandparents would do. My two grandmothers would make them, and I'd go there and enjoy.
Why do you think it's important that we have rhythms and things that we do every day that's
Because sometimes we get trapped up in here and we forget about everything that's out there.
too much in our head?
Yeah, too much in our head, bruv, which is a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing to be able to navigate what's going on in there, but we also need to be able to put that out here.
We still talk. We don't just email or text. We want to actually hear that person and hear how they're actually feeling and not just read about it and not be able to tell what's going on. I think it's really important.
And do you have a way that you've kind of set that up as a discipline or ritual or something that repeats?
No, I think it's done by, I was going to say spiritual. When I think about somebody, I will text them, like I text her and say, how's it going? And she'll, start to kind of communicate with me, and I say, how about I give you a ring? And then we could be talking for an hour.
Sounds like your rituals, both of you, they're centred around connection.
Absolutely, we're women.
Yeah.
Hey, men can connect too.
Men really can, and they need to more.
They do,
Yeah,
they
I
do.
agree.
I mean, in the old days, people used to meet and just have one beer, but they might be in the pub for 2 or 3 hours just chatting about life and what people think and is important. Whereas nowadays, we don't get that at all.
And I guess that even that one beer at the pub over a 2-hour period was a ritual. It was something you just turned up and the same people were there.
Oh, you met the same people who went there every Friday or every Thursday, and you got to know more people and learn about their lives and talk to them.
Do any of you have any religious rituals that you've kept up?
I pray before the flight starts.
Pray before flight?
Yeah, I turn religious before flight. That's a ritual.
And when does it disappear again? Just after you land?
Yeah.
That's funny, that. So you're quite spiritual at 10,000 feet?
Yeah, that's the closer I am to God, the closer, the more religious.
That's nice.
Oh, don't take up caving then.
Oh, God. It gets a bit hellish down there.
If you two were in charge and you were forced to make everyone do one ritual per day, what ritual would you make everyone do?
I would say either sit down and have a coffee for half an hour with somebody you work with that you don't know much about and just ask them about their life and their day and, what's happening.
How do you think that would change things if we all did that every day for half an hour?
I think it would change the whole work environment, caring for others, which doesn't seem to happen anymore, and I don't know why. I've just been out to lunch with a 83-year-old lady, and she doesn't have any of her family live in Auckland. Once a week I go and pick her up after my work, because I only work in the mornings, and take her out for lunch.
We just had a downtime,
Yeah.
so we just decided to meet and greet.
This feels like it could be a ritual. You could make it a ritual.
We do that. Yeah, so it is a ritual, yeah.
Sweet. Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah. Get over into the sun. There's some over there.
Sunday Sanctuary with Petra Bagust.
How delightful to be in a park talking to strangers. And I did absolutely love, right at the beginning when that girl said I make my bed, because it's something that I've started to do. I don't do it absolutely every day, but it is my ritual to make my bed as I get out of it. And it helps. Nice. Coming up, we talk to a kaitiaki of a faith community, Stu McGregor. But first, we sit down with Pio Tere, broadcaster, parenting place ambassador and dear friend, to talk about te ao Māori and how he feels about rituals. Tēnā koe, Pio.
Kia ora.
Oh, so good to see your face.
It's getting older, this face.
It doesn't look any older.
Okay.
I think you're aging backwards.
Yeah.
Apart from when you walked up the stairs, then I was like, ooh.
Yeah, we need a lift. Good to see you too.
Gorgeous man. We are here talking about ritual. Can you give me what you think ritual is about?
Yeah. As soon as you say rituals, that word, I think of safety. And I think of protection, and I think of rituals that keep you. I'm going to bring Star Trek here.
Do it.
It's like a force field around you, and rituals in a Māori world often build that force field of safety and protection, not just for you but for the people around you too. So even the smallest of rituals of doing something that is kind or interacting in a certain way, the byproduct of that is to open your connection with somebody else in a good, positive space.
Yeah.
Okay, in a Pākehā term, it might be a smile and a handshake, which is a ritual. So that's all about safety and everything, and about behaviour. And when you go way back in te ao Māori, those things tend to be in our DNA. Yeah. And, like when I walk into a situation and I see somebody sitting on a table, for me, I find that really uncomfortable. Yeah, a table where you have kei. You know, so that's something that
So there's a bum where there would be food.
you don't put a
That's
bum
not
where-
safe.
Yeah, because
Hygienically, you're like, whoa.
it's not safe. You know, we've just been through matariki. Okay, the time of planting, the time of recognising the people you have around you. Okay, these are rituals. Recognising the memories of the people that you have lost. So what does that do? Well, it gives you stability. It gives you mental health. You know, to be together and to eat. You and I have done that. There's endorphins that are going and within your body, that comes from a behaviour and that comes from rituals. That's my whakaaro.
I love those thoughts. I love, too, when we think about building connection, like we've shared meals. When you got your gold card, we shared a meal, a celebration meal.
You
that
didn't
was
need to go there.
Yum cha.
Yeah.
We had yum cha. We celebrated a coming of age, right?
Yeah.
Informal, fun, tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
But there's a bond in a building. We shared a workspace for a season.
Yeah.
We've shared a vocational space for a
Yeah.
season, even though we didn't intersect for a long time.
Yeah.
To be, honest and open, my te reo Māori journey started at the parenting place.
Yep.
When the parenting place went on a bicultural journey.
Sure.
You were there. You were a kaumatua of that. You were like a father, a leader, a steward of that.
Yep.
And I learnt beside you and under you. I learnt from you.
Yeah.
And I grew
Yeah.
as a person.
Yeah.
And I learnt ritual,
Yeah.
like
So
pohiri or pohiri.
You've gone from the action to the byproduct, which is the learning and the growing and the moving into a different space for a non-Māori wahine, which a lot are doing now, which is just fantastic. That was a journey, and the rituals that were honoured in that journey kept us safe and kept you safe.
Yes, and yet you can be a little bit nervous, right? That
Yeah.
you don't know the ritual or you might get the ritual wrong. Like I know with pohiri or pohiri, lots of people are like, I don't want to muck it up.
Yeah.
And yet, I guess an approach of humility to new spaces or new rituals.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key. If you don't know, go, let humility be your compass in these spaces, And even say so, if, I love Asia. And if I go to Asia, I found out that I don't want to go into, say, a temple in India with a singlet on. And it's hot. And I look great in a singlet, but I know,
can't be denied.
yeah, but you should cover your arms, So just learning that stuff instead of just bowling into there, because those temples to our Indian whānau are like marae to us back here. So they have rituals, we have rituals. Everybody's safe. Nobody's upsetting anybody else. So they're good. Yeah.
Are there things that you do as a family? Like, was it gathering to eat kai, or were there words that were said, or were there games that were played that were uniquely like, this is part of our family, or this is part of Te Ao Māori, or this is part of our tribe, our iwi?
Cup of tea. Come inside and have a cup of tea. Okay.
So manaakitanga hospitality.
Hospitality is
Open door.
huge. Yeah, open. Whatever you've got, put it on the table. I remember when I was really small, we visited this old kaumātua up north, and his house was a bit rough, because I'm a city boy, I'm a bit flash and blah, blah, blah. And he had some old cabin bread biscuits. Now, you could tile your roof. You're too young to know this, Petra, but they were a big bread. And my old man used to break them up and that was his ritual, put them in his tea and make them into a porridge. And that's all that fella had, But boy, you felt the aroha, because that was part of his way of behaving to show his manaaki,
Yeah, okay.
And be it in a Māori space, a Pākehā space, a Pacifica space, an Asian space, a lot of those rituals just come from being a positive human, Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
One of the rituals I'm from the Hokianga, so Catholicism is huge there, and Bishop Pompallier and stuff. And when the missionaries came here, they said, what we do is we christen you into the church, with the holy
like
water.
A dedication and sprinkling the water. Yeah.
And Māori didn't say it like this. They didn't say, bro, we already do that, but they sort of said, well, we have our own way of christening. And what they used to do was they get the pepe, and they go into the water or the river or the lake or the sea, and they dip the baby in, and if the baby comes up calm, that baby will be groomed to be a waka builder, a navigator, a fisherman, or whatever.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
If that baby comes up and he's spitting that water out and he's panicking, you're a horticulturalist.
Wow.
Yeah, so that christening...
That's a ritual.
Yeah, a ritual to go
Yeah.
into another world with practice. Holy Communion, right? So they say, and Māori would say, okay, why are we doing this? Well, it's the body and blood of Christ, right? So if you were a male Māori warrior and you were renowned as a fighter, and I was renowned as a fighter, you beat me, okay, you killed me in battle, you may eat or taste the flesh of my right arm or take the bone of my right arm as an ornament to give you mana. So to take Holy Communion to get the mana of the Lord is, I'm not saying they're the same things at all, but I'm saying these are rituals that pass mana.
Wow.
Cool,
eh? Yeah.
So let's not fight, all right?
Okay.
Because I think you might win. Okay, now this is a weird one. I just thought about it, and I am at fault here.
Okay.
I get really annoyed if I let a car in and they don't thank me or put their flashes on. That should be a ritual. A bit of I've totally hijacked this conversation.
No. I mean, I feel the same. But only I was driving with a friend once, and I snuck into a gap, and I said thanks, and my friend said you've thanked them for something they didn't give you. I took the space; they never gave it to me. But yes, I'm always hazards.
Yeah,
always.
yeah. But if you thank that person and you snuck that space, okay, because of that ritual, if it was me, I'm going, oh yeah. Oh, okay. Keeps us safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see. I've been watching the Commonwealth Games, right?
Nice.
There's a ritual there. When you come back, and I never made it. I pulled a hamstring in the 80s, and I couldn't. That whole pole vaulting.
You were so close.
That was my future. Anyway, when you go back
home.
No, when you come back from your event, you get called back into the village, Karanga. And I've forgotten her name. I'm terrible with. She was a pole vaulter.
Eliza?
Yeah.
McCarthy?
Eliza McCarthy, and then she speaks te reo. Okay, so she puts herself in that space, and the ritual that we take from this land and put into our sport, like the haka, people just love it. What's the byproduct of that?
Yeah.
Respect.
Honour.
You're on another level, man. You're on another level. The other thing is, it might have been one Pope John, was it? There's been a few.
There's been a few.
But, somebody said, give me the child till they're 7 and I'll give you the man, okay? So there's all sorts of rituals of manhood, of a Zulu warrior killing his first lion, of a young Māori boy standing on the marae, all those sorts of rituals that are part of a passage towards manhood, eh? Yeah, and I find those fascinating.
Yes.
There's a ritual I'd like to get rid of.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
The yard glass.
Oh, yeah.
21st birthday. Yeah. I didn't have it at mine. My brother did. It was ugly. Yeah. Why do we do this stuff, eh?
Yeah, so I guess rituals can harm.
Yeah.
Can't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So how would you say that ritual would steady you in a time of change? Like, what rituals do you turn to when you're dealing with loss or change?
Whanaungatanga. I go to the people that are going to keep me afloat. Now, is that a ritual or is that just a form of behaviour? I'm not sure. I'll keep talking and we might find a prayer, meditation. I was at a marae and we were just last weekend and we were talking about, and a lot of these people who are older than me, if you can imagine that, and a lot of them women were talking about they were brought up by the Catholic nuns.
Oh, yeah.
And their feelings have sort of changed a little bit. So their prayer is to the Lord, te ariki nui, he hukreiti. But some of their prayer is also to Tangaroa, the sea, the things that they can see. Tāne Mahuta, the bush that give them life, to the whenua that they grow their kei from and all those things. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. So those sorts of rituals, and for me the sea has been a big part, that meditation and karakia or prayer around the ocean, because the ocean has so many different faces. And when I was in grief, I always said, bro, from people who've been in grief as well, it says grief is like, it'll hit you like a wave. Just stay afloat because it'll calm out. Just stay afloat. So what do you do to stay afloat? You surround yourself with the right people. You look after yourself mentally, physically, spiritually. That order is probably wrong. It should be mentally, spiritually, whatever, all those things. But I think the loneliest place you can be is not knowing where to go. Not knowing or having some ritual in your whakapapa, in your family, in your church, in your bros down the rugby club. Mate, we have a barbecue every Sunday, mate.
Yeah, it's a ritual.
And I've got some Pacific Island bros of mine who used to beat me up on the football field, and once a month they'd get together and they'd ask each other, how you doing, bro? These guys are in their 60s. We were playing league when we were 18. It says, how you doing, bro? Samoan, Tongan, Pākehā. How you doing, bro? They're still together. That's their ritual, is to sit in a circle and say, how can we help each other? That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the aspect of that you've brought in, which is of safety and protection.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful face of ritual. It may have many faces.
Yeah.
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 Kia ora.
But, a lot of the old science around ritual and stuff, and it is a science, is designed to look after you. If you have the right lenses on, rituals can be a real pathway to a better space and some good safety.
Kia ora. I get this feeling of discovery as we're talking about rituals, and I loved all the different aspects of ritual that Pio was referring to. And what landed for me in that kōrero, in that chat, was this idea of safety and protection, that a practice I might engage with can help to make me feel safe or provide protection. This is brilliant. Send this episode to a person who you think needs a bit of safety and protection, a little ritual in their life, and feel free to leave us a review wherever you are listening to this podcast. We are at Sunday Sanctuary NZ on Instagram. If you want to hang out with us there, we love that too. That's an excerpt of Be Still and Know That I'm God. It's sung by men from lots of different choirs in the Church of St. Francis Xavier in New York, April 2017. And the composition is by Roman Herco. Collection of voices is pretty cool. It's time now for a reflection on communion, as is our ritual, and this week the communion has been composed by Frank Ritchie.
Hi, I'm Frank Ritchie, and we've come to that time here at Sunday Sanctuary where we reflect on the meal Jesus instituted the night before he died. A ritual that has been practiced ever since across the last 2,000 years. In that meal, through calling bread his body and wine his blood, something visceral and tangible, Jesus foreshadowed his death with a promise of being reunited in the future with those who shared the meal with him. In my humble opinion, everything that's important and valuable about rituals is embodied in this one that has spanned 2 millennia. The meal connects us to meaning. It moves us beyond ourselves and places our lives in a redemptive story that transcends our present circumstances while meeting us in them. It invites us into and places us within that story. It calls us into rhythm, something we come back to time and time again, acting as an anchor point that remains unchanged as the ups and downs of life swirl around us. The ritual brings us into community, connecting us to God via the work and actions of Jesus 2,000 years ago. It also connects us to those who come to the meal alongside us, those we find easy to love and those we find more challenging to love, those like us and those vastly different from us. It also connects us to everyone down through history who has participated in this very ritual, those around the world now and those who will participate in it in the future. And in the turmoil of the world, it provides hope. It points us backwards to an act of redemption. It teaches us to see the redemptive moments in the midst of the struggle around us, and it gives us a sense of expectation about what the future holds, whether that future is realized in our lifetime or beyond it. In that sense, it also teaches us to see beyond the horizon of our own mortal lifetime. All rituals contain some, if not all of these, but in my world this is the ritual that embodies all of those rich elements: meaning, rhythm, stability, community, and the gift of hope. And for that, I give thanks.
Sunday Sanctuary with Petra Bagust.
Ritual unions got me in trouble again. I was wondering of a white dress and the mistress and the spirit holding my hand. Love's sinking in the sand. Petals falling on demand. My feet are running like the wind. I'm sorry, boy, that we sin. Love is not like they say. I lied, it's hard to make it stay. I drown my feelings in the sea, then dried out over on the beach. Ritual unions got me in trouble again. I was wondering of a white dress and the mistress and the spirit holding my hand. Oh, better tell me how it is. I know you've been through all of this. You ran away so many times. Your kids, your heart a couple times. Love is not like they say. I lied, it's hard to make it stay. I drowned my feelings in the sea, then dried up over on the beach.
That was Ritual Union by Little Dragon, our waiata for this episode, and just seemed very appropriate. Next up, we have Kaitiaki of a faith community in Auckland City, Tamaki Makaurau. Stu McGregor has been leading this church for about 12 years. Here's Stu. Stu McGregor, thanks for joining me on Sunday Sanctuary and for being a person who shepherds a faith community, Cityside Baptist.
Yep.
You've been hanging out with them for 12 years. Mm-hmm. So are you known for anything in particular as a faith community leader?
Me personally or the church?
Because I don't know you or your church particularly. I know.
If I'm known for anything, it would be because of Cityside.
Mm-hmm.
I've been part of Cityside on and off for about 20 to 30 years. and really enjoyed its kaupapa when it was first established around creativity, exploring the bigger questions of not just faith but society, and trying to really wrestle with that. For some of us, that was a really tough time because nothing seemed to make much sense, and we couldn't see the narratives that our parents had playing out. So when I took on the role at Cityside, I felt a deep affinity, I think, with that. And so if we represent anything as a community, it is that we're a very open church. We don't have any doctrinal statements, not because we're not Christian, just because I think we feel that doctrinal statements will create restriction. We do have a set of values and a couple of sayings. We don't want to exclude people on things that they shouldn't be excluded on. So we are one of the churches in the Baptist Union that affirms same-sex marriage. And I guess in that sense we have a bit of a name for ourselves there. And I have a reputation maybe of speaking my mind about some of these things in our national gatherings. So again, depending who you talk to, some might like me, some might not.
Yeah, you're a thorn in the flesh for some.
Yeah.
And a bright light for others.
I think so.
Yeah.
And
So you're not seeking popularity, perhaps.
I think in the 90s I thought I'd be this great thought leader within Christianity, but I'm sort of pretty glad that hasn't happened. Maybe edit that out.
There you go, Mick. There's your first instruction. Hey, I love the topic that we're talking about today, and partly because it feels so familiar and so unexplored. So this concept of ritual, the common ones we think of are Christmases and birthdays and things that happen annually or once in a life. Like marriage is a ritual, I guess, a ceremony, a ritual. I don't know. What's a habit? What's a ceremony? What's a ritual? What are your thoughts, Stu?
Ritual is something that is really ingrained at quite a deep level within the human expression of life, I guess. We find ourselves caught up in ritual all the time without really being aware of it.
Okay. And you're saying caught up in?
Well, I think sometimes we just go with the flow because that's what we are meant to do. I was taught, for example, to always hold my fork in a particular way, and I was not given any reason as to why that was the right way, but there was a ritual that we did at dinner time. Likewise, if we were saying grace, I would be sitting there going along with that because it meant something to mum and dad. Mm-hmm. So I think often we do go with the flow. So another ritual that we probably fall into and wouldn't call it that would be clinking glasses at a toast.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's go cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Yeah. And then people go around and they clink the glasses, right? And if you don't get your glass clinked by someone, it creates a social moment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For some reason, we feel like we need to make sure that it happens. Mm-hmm. And so we're drawn into this thing, which is a ritual, that we don't actually know why we do that. There are some legends around why that might be, but there's no real reason why you would take delicate glasses and make them touch. That's something that we would fall into. But unwittingly, in that particular example, there is a social dynamic that emerges from that where we're actually making connection.
Yes.
Because if you don't clink your glass, you're not being connected with. And it's a small and trivial thing.
Yes.
Yet it can actually mean quite a bit.
I had lunch with two girlfriends yesterday and I ordered us a round of teas, 3 pots of tea at the end. And I picked up my cup of tea and said cheers, and we clinked glasses. And I wonder now if that was a moment of acknowledging the here-ness of us.
Yeah. And here we are gathered.
Yeah.
Because I do that sometimes with friends. It's just me and a friend, and we'll order a drink. It's not formal. We're not thinking about this.
No, it's subconscious, isn't it? I didn't think, after we've eaten, I'm going to cheers. It was a ritual that was engaged with, I guess.
And it was good.
Yeah, it's good.
And so I think there's an intention behind it that we're picking up on, which turns that from being turns it into quite a good example, I think, of ritual, because in the practice itself emerges a deep meaning and something that shifts something within us. Yeah, so...
What do you think the meaning is, or what is the shift?
I think that you could be at a table full of all sorts of people, And some of them you're not getting on very well with, you know. And at that moment, when we're clinking glasses, all of that stuff is put to one side just for the sake of saying, I see you, we gathered. It's not intense, it's very low key, but for that moment I have to acknowledge the other person, and likewise them, me. And that we want to be in a particular gear where we will be constructive for this particular gathering, I guess.
So that kind of a cheers ritual isn't allocated and formalised and remembered. Do you think that there are just myriad ways of practising ritual?
Yeah, I think so. But whether someone else thinks that what you're doing is a ritual is another question. And so there are corporate rituals that we engage in. For example, when we go to court, asked to stand, to sit, take off your hat when you're down in Parliament or whatever.
Turn your cell phone on silent.
Yes, turn your cell phone on silent, that's right.
Are those rituals? Are those...
I think they can be, because again, it comes down to the intent behind it.
Okay, tell me about this idea of intention and ritual.
If I was turning off my cell phone when I was with someone, I'm sending a signal to that person.
Definitely.
About presence. And I think over time it's going to become ritualistic that we actually do that.
I hear you. I when you were talking, I was thinking about, you know, with the rise of social media and our supposed connection that has also turned into a type of disconnection, there are whole cohorts of 20 and 30-year-olds who, when they arrive at a friend's place, all put their phones in a basket. Like, they don't look at their phones for the rest of the night. Or they gather their phones out of sight for dinner. Or that there's a rule that you can't have your phone on the table at dinner. So I find that I guess that does become ritualistic, doesn't it?
It does, although the intent behind it, though it's not necessarily stated, the intent still remains. And people might forget the intent, but the impact and the effect of that still remains. So there's this kind of weird thing where it's not just about intent. Sometimes the practice in and of itself is enough to make that positive change or to create the environment for a change.
So what do you think rituals are for? What's their purpose?
I think rituals, certainly within my faith tradition, they seem to be for stopping. There's a great word that the psalmists often use, Selah, pause and reflect. And I think that's really, in part, what rituals are. They segue us out of one mode into another. And some will be quite long-lasting. Some will be very short, still important.
Yes.
And I think that's how I see the rituals at church. And some will mean something to some people, and some will just not mean anything to others.
Because I guess in modern life, do you think perhaps rituals got thrown out with the bathwater a little bit? Like, I know that even in, you know, recent church history, all that incense and all those outfits and all that call-in response, that all just, oh, I'll see you later with all of that.
Short answer is yeah. Yeah, we have. I've got lots of theories on this, but I have a sense where, because we've become more individualistic as a society, we have lost sight of how ritual actually binds us together. And we can see that in the way that it's probably too Christianese to talk about Christian worship.
So in a spiritual gathering, we would get together and start with singing?
Yeah, we would, but over time that's turned from being, hey, here we are gathered to sing, to what is this going to do for me?
Do I like these songs?
Is
this having an impact on my life or my well-being?
And a lot of the music seems to be written to serve that purpose.
Of what's good for me.
Rather than, I think in the past, particularly with the old school hymns, you get the really singable ones because they were written to be sung by a group.
In community. They were written to be sung by multiple voices.
And people felt great about it.
Oh yeah,
together we're making this
sound, this beautiful sound.
That's right. And it's easy, it's accessible.
Yeah, and interesting in so much as even just thinking about faith practices or faith traditions, how in an age where anything is up for grabs and everything perhaps is about me, and I feel that for young people today in terms of living in a historic age where we don't really remember our forebears, our ancestors, so then we don't have an identity we're building on or moving out of. We're just like having to generate the whole thing ourselves.
Yeah, I think part of that is because we're a settler colonial society and our roots are hard to find.
Yeah, I agree.
And that kind of disconnect from history is, I think it's hard for us to overcome that because rituals are about identity as well.
Okay, so if rituals are about identity, what do you think we can do? Do you think it's worth recovering older rituals, or is it okay just to create new ones, or do we just need to open our eyes and see the ones we've got?
All of those. I think I might just share another ritual to give another aspect of rituals, which will help answer that question. I was up in a retreat centre in the Hokianga, and every day they do daily prayers, a little service in the morning and in the evening. But at each service, they recited 3 psalms, and they sang the psalms, or chanted them, which is very outside of my tradition.
But they were written as songs originally, so also according back to...
Kind of makes sense,
yeah. Kind of makes sense, yeah.
What I found really interesting is that they weren't stopping to pause on the theological significance of these very difficult words, which is so outside my tradition.
Okay.
They weren't wrestling with them. They weren't doing anything with them. They were reciting 3 psalms because they were the psalms for the day. Mm-hmm. And this is what they did, and it was a practice. And it occurred to me in that, even in the 3 days that I was there, that I might zone in and out of this ritual. Mm-hmm. But the value of just doing it, even if I wasn't feeling it. And so this is where that whole practice, habit, ritual, those things all sort of overlap a bit. And I think sometimes we expect too much from our rituals.
Okay.
And that might be where some of the disappointment or the nervousness about engaging with them is, when in fact actually part of the practice of doing it is where eventually you'll find some meaning and some shift taking place.
That's so lovely. I like hearing you say that about the Psalms. And it's a funny thing because the faith tradition I grew up in is very much about what was new or exciting or the most recent revelation. And I think society gets that in so much as, are you relevant? It's all about relevance. What they're saying is so relevant right now. Like what's hot, what's marketable, what's the take, who's the it person. And ritual it's repetitive, it's reliable, it's repeatable. And there is such peace and comfort. I mean, actually, the word that came to mind was relief. There's such relief in ritual for me at times, especially to do with faith tradition. It's that I don't have to engineer this or create it or make it or find it or do it. I can sit within it.
Yeah.
And maybe I only appreciate that because I'm in my 50s. I mean, like maybe it's a seasonal thing. But I am relieved by ritual. It's a decision I don't have to make. It's sitting on top of something that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe the pressure that we feel from ritual is actually the pressure we're putting on the ritual. And I look at some of the traditions in the church, and I now have to step back and go, who am I to actually say whether this has value or not? A couple of thousand years of tradition there. When I hear the Catholic priest talking about what he's doing during the Eucharist,
it's pretty profound, eh? It's
quite
quite mind-blowing. You're like, I'll have a bit of that.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there going, I don't know, hey.
Yeah.
And so I think just being prepared, to just sort of sit with it and see what happens is the key thing, yeah.
Super fun. I'm going to wind up our conversation. Is there a ritual that you have in your life that you've sort of instituted, maybe in your family, that you love or inhabit in a way that brings you something?
Yeah, so I'm not the most spiritually disciplined person. Get that out there. However, when I put my youngest son down to bed at the moment, we say the Lord's Prayer together. And I remember thinking when we changed to that, oh, good, I know about the Lord's Prayer. I've done lots of study on it. I'm going to make this actually mean something. We're not going to just da-da-da-da-da. And sure enough, within a few weeks of doing this, I was yawning, I was agitated. I was thinking about, oh, God, I just want to eat some salami or something like that. I wasn't feeling it, and I was feeling terrible about it because I wanted it to feel something. I want this to be something that actually means something I don't want him to grow up thinking the Lord's Prayer, blah, 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 blah. what I was trying to model. And in the end, actually, once I let go of that, it actually doesn't matter. There's so many things going on and so many points of relevance for him participating in that prayer with me that will carry on long beyond even just that moment. It establishes a reference point as well about spending time with Dad, spirituality, the type of spirituality that we're engaging with. It becomes a resource for later in life, which he may not realise until he's in his 30s. And it will bring him back. The ritual will bring him back to what was at the centre of it, the intent, which is that we're sharing something Christian. We don't do a lot of that stuff, but this is a moment for him and I to share. I think that's really quite powerful. Yeah.
That's a beautiful example. It reminds me about my children who refuse to go to church after a certain age. Some of them, some still want to. I should say, one still goes and some of them refuse. And yet we gather for dinner and they say grace. They thank God for the food. And I'm like, well, go figure. And it's not required, but it's just something we do. We show gratitude and we acknowledge that we aren't the biggest thing in our worlds. Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah, and it's a surprise and a delight. Thanks heaps, Stu. Lovely chatting.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too.
Sunday Sanctuary with Petra Bagust.
I've really enjoyed the discussions that we have had about ritual because I feel like I keep discovering stuff. And with Pio, there was that sense of protection and safety and more. And with Stu, I felt like this amazing sense of relief in ritual, that I don't have to create everything, all the meaning, all by myself and sustain it all by myself, that I can belong to a community or I can belong to a practice or partake of a thing. And yeah, for me, there's a sense of relief in that. So I think we should do this together. I think it's a good idea. Why don't we reflect on rituals in our own lives and maybe look forward to something that we might revive or renew? Before I do that, I'd love to tell you about a people group who started a new ritual about just over 100 years ago. And at the time in Africa, thousands of Zulu men were relocated from their rural homes to work in huge coal mines. So the work, as you can imagine, was long and hot and back-breaking. They were housed in crowded, strictly monitored worker dormitories. And these men, who would have been exhausted, far from home, far from family, gathered at night to sing, to relieve their homesickness. They had to be careful not to be too loud. They didn't want to attract the attention of the unforgiving guards, so they developed a quiet, harmonious humming and singing. And this is the beautiful sound that we can hear. So allow that to be with us as I guide you through this reflection. And first, I'm going to invite you to call to mind a ritual that you maybe have in your life already. It might be something you do every day or every week that anchors you in some way. What is that ritual? And if you can think of something that you do, making your bed, lighting a candle, a cup of tea, a certain way, whatever it is for you, is there a way that ritual is linked to something deeper than the surface action? It might be a recognition or an expression of a core value you hold. It might be a connection to a bigger story that you are part of. It may connect you to other humans around you. What is the deeper symbolic meaning of your ritual that you might easily overlook? Now turn your mind to a ritual that you once did that's fallen by the wayside. Perhaps it's a ritual that you miss. And if something comes to mind, perhaps you'd like to reintegrate it into your life, revive it, restore it. And if you would like to do that, what could it look like? And finally, what's one ritual that you'd like to introduce into your life? Could be something small, that's daily, something that reminds you of what's truly important to you, that will connect you to something deeper and longer. And perhaps that remembering or connecting is to something precious you don't want to lose sight of. Maybe like the men we can hear singing, it's something that will connect you to a feeling of home and safety. What might that little daily ritual look like? Where and when could you find the space to do it? Now I'm going to leave you with a karakia that was mentioned during the interview with Stu. It's karakia o Te Atua, the Lord's Prayer. And so I've asked Naomi Toilalo, you can find her on Instagram at Whānau Kai. She's a wahine toa. Love her. And I thought it would be beautiful to let her read Te Karakia o Te Atua. It doesn't matter if you do or don't speak Te Reo Māori. Allow yourself to soak in it, allow the words to wash over you, allow the ritual of that much said karakia to be with you. Kia ora.
E tō mātou matua I te rangi, kia tapu tō ingoa, kia tai mai tō rangatiratanga, kia mea tia tau e pai ai ki runga ki te whenua, kia rite anō ki tō te rangi. Ho mai ki a mātou āia nei, he taro mā mātou mo tēnei rā. Murua o mātou hara, me mātou hoki e muru nei I o te hunga e hara ana ki a mātou. Aua hoki mātou e kawea kia whakawaia. Engari, whakaorangia mātou I te kino. Nōu hoki te rangatiratanga, te kaha me te korōria. Ake, ake, ake. Āmine.